Good evening. It's great to be here. It's always wonderful to be in this wonderful room, and hello to people around the country. Hello to St. Louis, where I went to college, and Omaha, where I went to youth group events, and Burlington, Vermont, where I've seen the leaves change, and Florida, where I've talked to more JCCs than I can count. But it's always wonderful to be right here in the 92nd Street Y. During the month just past, I was asked often, as I'm sure you were, how were your holidays? It's a casual enough question. And I answered, they were good, which was an honest answer, but insufficient. Because, in fact, my holidays were especially sweet this year, starting with Rosh Hashanah, which I always look forward to, for the freshness and the possibility and the reunion it represents. For one thing, after the vacations and absences of the summer, it's a chance to reconnect with my congregation. This year, as every year, I look around the sanctuary where I got married, where my daughter was named and became bat mitzvah, where she graduated from Hebrew high school, where I have laughed and cried so much. This Rosh Hashanah was extra special because my daughter was sitting beside me, back for the holiday after her first month as a college freshman here in New York City. She looked so great, saying hello to the friends she grew up with, also home from college. They all looked fabulous, so much more settled and solid in their faces, in their shoulders, in their lives. They all had stories to tell each other, and all of us parents watched these golden young people, remembering them as babies. It was very sweet. Throughout the season of holidays this year, I was overwhelmed by a sense of gratitude, and I tried to stay focused on my good fortune by naming my blessings. And here they are: the health and well-being of my family and friends, meaningful work, my marriage, my congregational home, my daughter's presence, my book sales, connections with old friends, and the new friends I've made in the past few years working on Mayim Chaim, which is a mikveh project that I'll tell you about a little later. I made those lists over and over again. They included the challenges of writing my new novel, the beauty of the autumn outside the window, my wonderful new dog, the Red Sox. That was before the fall. In the middle of that list of blessings, though, I remembered that I had to write this speech, Reinventing the Jewish Woman. Ugh, it's such a big honor. It's such a big venue. What was I going to say? When was I going to have time to write it? This was not very pious in the middle of Yom Kippur, but I took the distracting thought and did as the Hasidic masters had counseled. I took it into my heart, and I included it in my prayers, and I turned it around. There's a kind of a parlor game where you're asked, what period in history would you choose to live in if you could switch? That question always stumps me. I might be curious to peek ahead maybe 100 years to see how a few things I care about turn out. But that's a pretty scary prospect. If I remember that midrash correctly, when the gift was offered to Adam, it killed him, and God had to resurrect him. But I really have no interest in stepping back into any period of history that predates antibiotics or anesthesia. And I certainly wouldn't want to live in any earlier epoch as a Jewish woman. So I am grateful, I added to my list, down to my toes, for the great gift of being born in this time, and in this place, too. Reinventing the Jewish woman, that was probably the topic of sermons 100 years ago, or in slightly different language, the subject of responsa 1,000 years ago, though in neither case would the speaker or writer actually have been a woman. The reinvention of the Jewish woman is not a new project. You don't just transform semi-nomadic cultivator weavers into city-dwelling matrons or shtetl-surviving peasants to MSWs without lots of serious reform and reconstruction. Of course, the speed of this change has accelerated a lot. In the space of the past few generations, the Jewish woman has morphed from sweatshop worker to labor lawyer, from the mom in that mom-and-pop store on Flatbush to full professors at every college and university in this city, including Hebrew Union College and the Jewish Theological Seminary and Yeshiva University. Getting ready for tonight, I pulled out some books from my own shelf about the Jewish woman in America. They were written in the 1970s and 80s, and they included long and angry discussions about the ways that Jewish women have been depicted by male.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.